Hi guys, my name is Lala. In today's tutorial, I'll be teaching us how you can sew a front slit on a dress or on a skirt perfectly with lining. Okay, so it's a very simple tutorial, and then all you need to do is just pay attention and watch till the end. So let's get started. Now I'm making a dress, okay, and the dress has the upper part and the lower part, of course, and the slit is going to be on my skirt. So your slit can be at the center, can be on the right side of the skirt or on the left side, but I want to be making my own at the center. So I am folding my skirt into two. Okay, I've already joined my body to the skirt anyway, but if you're sewing an ordinary skirt, what you do is you would have sewn your dart on the skirt before you start this process. So I want my slit to be on the center of the skirt. Okay, yeah. So before we start the process of making of the slits, you want to line the hemline of your skirts. Okay, so like I said, I'm making a dress, so this is my lining. Now the first step is you have to reduce your lining by 1/2 or 1 inch. You know, initially when you're cutting out the skirts, the fabric and lining are of the same length, but when you want to turn the hemline, you have to reduce the lining by 1/2 or 1 inch. So the reason is, after sewing, part of the fabric folds inwards, you know, and this prevents your lining from sticking out. That's the function. So now that I've reduced my lining by 1 inch, I'll go ahead and turn my skirts on the hemline, fabric and lining together, right side fitting right side, and I'm turning with 1/2 inch seam allowance. Okay, so after turning in, this is what you're going to be having here. This is it here. Okay, so you want to press flat. This is my right side of my dress. You want to press flat. Okay, and not pressing, you know, it makes your work neat and all. But before you go ahead to press, okay, you have to position the lining accurately. So for you to do this, you will need to pin the fabric and the lining together of the skirt or of the dress. Now in my own case, it's a dress, so I'll be pinning the fabric and lining around the armhole on the waistline there. Okay, so these are very important points on your dress. So I'll just pin this, okay, at the armhole there and on the waistline. So if yours is a skirt, just pin the fabric and lining on the waistline, because the waistline is supposed to match for both the fabric and lining. Okay, so I'll just do this all the way down, and then I'll repeat the same process on the other side of my dress. Now after you do this, you'll be able to find the accurate position of your hem at the lower part of the dress, and you will find out that parts of your fabric is going to fold inwards towards the lining. So let me just finish pinning and show us what I'm trying to say. Okay, now that I'm done pinning, this is what I was trying to explain to us. You can see that after pinning, okay, after pinning, then you know, you spread out the fabric, and then you're going to have something like this. You can see that part of the fabric has folded in. So this is just perfect. It prevents your lining from sticking out, like I said. So you go ahead to the sewing machine, your pressing table, and give this a very good press. Now you need to press well to avoid any form of folds. After pressing, you're going to have something like this. Okay, like this here. Now the purpose of the pressing is for you to be able to create the and how do I put it now, to demarcate that line between the fabric and the lining, because we're still going to be like folding this back to the wrong side. By the time you flip back to the wrong side, the demarcation that the pressing has given the fabric and lining, okay, will serve as a guide. Now I'm taking out my pins. I want to flip over my dress to the wrong side, and then we are going to mark our slits. Yeah. So here I'm going to fold back my dress the wrong side. Now I'm going to pin the hemline. Now remember, we press the hemline. Now I'm going to follow the fold of that pressed part. Can you see that fold there? Yes, I'm going to follow that part. So now I'm going to fold in my fabric towards the lining. You can see that. Okay, and then I'm just going to pin the same way I pinned the fabric and lining together when we were at the wrong side. Okay, so I finished pinning it. Okay, make sure you pin the lower part, everything here, pin it. You should also pin the waistline, the sides, so that your fabric is not shifting here and there. Okay, same thing with the waistline there. Okay, and then yeah, and the other side there. All right, now I want my slit to be at the center, so I have drawn a line with my chalk to indicate the center of my skirts. Then next I'm going to be marking where I want my slit to stop. So this is where I want my slit to stop. Now I think my half length is about I think I use about 18 thereabouts. So, and I want my slit to stop at 35 inches. That's a few inches above my knee. Okay, so that's the point where I want my slit to stop. Now I'm going to use a ruler. First of all, I'll create like a slight curve around the top part there. Then I will use my ruler and draw a straight line down. Okay, so that's about ½ inch away from the center line. Okay, on the center front. Same thing on the other side here, about ½ inch. And then use your ruler, don't use your hands. Okay, it will not give you an accurate line. So I'll just blend up that part. Then I will also use my pins to secure the fabric and lining very close to the curve there, so that by the time you want to start sewing, the fabric will not start shifting here and there. All right, so there I will take this to the sewing machine now, and I'm going to sew, but make sure you pin. Now just making sure I pin the fabric and lining together. Now I'll be sewing with ½ inch round. Okay, I'm not touching the center line. Yeah, so I'm done sewing. This is how it's gonna look like, and I'm still on the wrong side of the fabric. So all I'll do now is I'll just cut open the center line. It's that simple. So you just cut open like that, and then you just create notches at the top part so that your slits will lie flat. You won't have any folds or bubbles at that point of the slit. So I'm just creating my notches. And then I'm taking off my pins. Meanwhile, I've not lined my bodice, but anyway, that's not what we're talking about here. I'm just showing us how to create the slits. It's just a part of what I was trying to do on this dress. So I'm just pushing out my lining with my scissors. You can use any sharp object to do that here. So I'll take this to my pressing iron now and give this a very good press. Then one more thing, after sewing, there is tendency for your lining to want to be folding out, as in where you have the slits. Let me show what I mean. Yeah, so this is the outside, and you can see the lining sticking out there. So we have to do what is called a top stitch. Okay, so you have to flip over the fabric back to the wrong side. Then you are going to sew. You will sew or you stitch the seam allowance on the lining like this. You can see. So I'll stitch my seam allowance on my lining on both sides of my slit. That way it keeps my lining in place and is not sticking out. Okay, so you repeat the same thing for the other side there. Here. So let me do that. Okay guys, so I have done my top stitch. This is it. You can see the stitch there. It keeps the lining in place, and this is how the stitch looks like. So You can position the slit on the side, center, anywhere. You can make it longer, definitely not shorter. If it's short, it's not going to be fine. So that's the end of this tutorial. I hope you learned something new. If you did, leave your comments and reactions, and do not forget to subscribe and share. Thank you.